you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Well, hello, San Antonio. Great to be back. And first thing is, Leo, thank you for that great introduction, and I'm particularly pleased that you gave it exactly the way I wrote it. Thank you all for coming out, and on a Sunday night, no less. I know I just missed the rodeo, and I'm too early for fiesta, but I am just in time to wish you an all happy Texas Independence Day coming up. I don't know how to break this to you, but we don't celebrate that in New York. Seriously, with your help, we are going to celebrate even more on Super Tuesday. The road to victory in November starts right here, right now in Texas. We've come together tonight at the old Brooks Air Force Base here in Military City, USA. So let me just tell you what I've told service members, veterans, military families, everywhere, every place I've been during this campaign. As Commander-in-Chief, I promise to never put our fighting men and women in harm's way unless it's absolutely necessary. And as President, I promise to ensure that our veterans have the resources and support they need to succeed in and out of uniform. And I will work every day to make thank you. And I'll work every day to make sure that this country repays the great debt that we owe them for serving. So, across the Lone Star State, we've got a lot of momentum on our side. This is my 7th trip to Texas since Thanksgiving. And I can tell you, I have eaten enough brisket to qualify as an honorary Texan. A few weeks ago, we went to El Paso and launched our Ganamos con Mike coalition. And we've got a big, bold plan to bring economic security and prosperity to the 60 million Latinos who live in our country. And when I am president, we will get it done. I got to tell you, I have been studying Spanish for now 12 years. My current Spanish instructor is a woman from Mexico City. She's married to a Dominican. They live in northern Manhattan. And when I talk to the Dominicans, I can't understand a word they say. But the Mexican Spanish is relatively easy for me, and I'm getting there slowly. I wouldn't overstate it, but I have decided that before I die, I am going to speak Spanish like a native and hit a golf ball like a professional. And that just means that I'm going to live a very long time. We're honored to have the support of more than 100 Texas officials now, and we're also thrilled to have the endorsement of a champion that you know and love. A 5-time champion, the one and only Tim Duncan. He is a legend, a really great guy. I just hope he and Pop take it easy on the Knicks. The Knicks need all the help they can get. I actually grew up in Boston, so I was a Celtics fan growing up. But now in New York, when the Celtics and the Knicks play, no matter who scores a basket, I make sure I don't smile. San Antonio, all kidding aside, holds a special place in our campaign lure because this is where I first boarded our campaign bus, the Get It Done Express. We went from here to Austin, to Waco, to Dallas, and we traveled with one of the most celebrated justices in American history, Judge Judy. You are right. She is a thin, short woman, and she ate more brisket than I did at every stop. I didn't understand. She just loved it. She sat there and she talked to everybody in each restaurant. It really was fun to see her, and she is a lot more of a legend than I will ever be, even if I'm in the White House. I was honored to have her support, and I can just tell you, if Republicans in the U.S. Senate were as tough as she is, they would have convicted President Trump on impeachment charges. But since they did... But since they didn't vote to remove him from office, we are going to do it in November. Now, right now, we have a leadership vacuum in the White House, and it could not come at a worse time. There is really a serious crisis facing our country and the world, and that's the coronavirus. And I'm sure you've all read a lot of what the president said in his press conferences this week. The fact is, President Trump was briefed on the coronavirus 2 months ago, but he just buried his head in the sand. And his failure to prepare is crippling our ability to respond. And now that's here. The president tried to slash funding for our Centers for Disease Control. He fired the entire White House team in charge of responding to pandemics. He predicted this was all going to be over in 2 months. But as we all know, the president is not a scientist, and that's putting it nicely. He doesn't even believe in science. All kidding aside, his incompetence really puts us at risk. You've got to practice for these things. You've got to plan. You've got to have a program to know what to do. You don't know what the next disaster that's going to happen is. It could be a pandemic. It could be an explosion. It could be anything. But you have to, when things are quiet and you have some time, put together how you're going to communicate, how you're going to get people, seniors out of seniors' homes, how you're going to get people who are in hospitals and need to be on a respirator or something, how you're going to make sure the police and the fire coordinate, how you're going to tell the state government and the federal government, how you keep records. This is what mayors should do. This is what governors should do. And the president's job is to make sure that all the cities do it, and he's just not doing that. He actually called one of his rallies, he called the virus a Democratic hoax. I hope it does not get worse. It'd be great if it just died out. Doesn't look like it's going to do that, but we don't know how serious it is. But you just don't play games. This is not a job for an amateur, and he is, and that's unfortunate. And at a time when the president should be putting politics aside and rallying the American people behind him, he continues to divide us by playing partisan politics. I'm sorry. It's times like this we need strong and proven leadership in the White House, and we need someone who's led during a crisis, who believes in science, who invests in prevention and preparation, and who listens to experts. And we need a president that understands that the United States is responsible both for keeping Americans safe from a pandemic and helping to lead the global response to combat it. We need a president who will make protecting the health of the American people their #1 priority at all times, and I can tell you that's exactly the kind of president I will be. But Thank you. This is going to surprise you, but first we have to win a primary. And across all of Texas, we built a great campaign team. We have almost 20 field offices and 180 staff on the ground right now. Everybody's working incredibly hard. Early voting is in the books, and now we've just got 2 days to Super Tuesday. So this is when we really need Texas to get the job done. And I hope all of you will help our Texas team get out the vote. I hope you will tell your friends and your families and your neighbors how important their votes are. And if they ask you what my campaign is all about, just tell them this: I am running to defeat Donald Trump. I am running a campaign for change, a campaign for sanity, a campaign for honesty, a campaign for inclusion, and a campaign for compassion, and a campaign for human decency. I am running to restore honor to our government and to build a country that we're proud of and to start getting things done and to put the United back in the United States of America. Back in Philadelphia in 2016, I spoke at the Democratic Convention, and I warned that Donald Trump wasn't fit for the office. And then in 2018, I worked to hold him accountable by flipping 21 House seats, including 2 here in Texas. That made Nancy Pelosi Speaker, and she could start the impeachment process against the president. We know what Trump's strategy is. His strategy is to attack Democrats, make their plans look unrealistic and unaffordable and undoable. But that's not going to work against you and me, because we have the record and we have the resources to defeat him in swing states, the ones that Democrats lost in 2016, and to finally turn Texas blue. And capture those 38 electoral votes and flip the Texas House. Now, I know we can do it. My friend Beto showed that we were getting close. But to get it done, we need to nominate someone at the top of the ticket who can build a broad coalition that rallies Democrats and attracts independents and moderate Republicans. That's what I did in 3 races in New York City. I got the Republicans, the Democrats, and the independents. That's how I won, and that's how we governed. That's what this country needs. Now, I know I'm not a typical politician. Sorry about that. I've never worked in Washington. I don't make pie-in-the-sky promises. And as you've seen in the debates, I'm not someone who just yells slogans even when they're not true. I believe we need a leader who is ready to be commander-in-chief, not college debater-in-chief. So if you want someone who talks turkey and who has a record of accomplishment on all the big issues facing our country, and who has the resources to beat Trump, I think I'm your guy. Look, I give virtually all my company's profits to charity, and there's no better investment I can make in the future of this country than spending some of that to defeat Donald Trump. And if you think this campaign is expensive, just imagine what 4 more years of Donald Trump will cost our country. It would be a catastrophe, and I'm in to stop it. Now, even though Donald Trump and I are both from New York, I think we couldn't be more different. He's from Queens. Well, I actually was born in Boston, but that's another issue. And my daughters have never forgiven me for that. But I moved here in 1966. Eventually, you become a New Yorker, you'd think. In fact, you might say I'm the un-Trump. So just think about it. I'm a doer, he's a talker. In fact, he is the definition of all hat and no cattle. I'm all action and no BS. He breaks promises, I keep them. He divides people, I unite them. He's a climate denier, I'm an engineer. Believe this or not, I actually believe in science. Imagine that. He tweets, I follow facts, respect data, and tell the truth. He looks out for people who inherited their wealth. I started with nothing but my parents' teaching of hard work and ethical behavior. And I can tell you, I'm going to raise taxes on myself and the wealthy to get the revenue we need to start fighting income inequality and paying for infrastructure and investing in emergency preparedness and extending health care and improving education and all the other things we need to strengthen our great country. We haven't done it in a while. It's time to do it right now. My whole career, I've been a doer. And I believe we need less talk, less partisanship, less division, less tweeting. In fact, how about no tweeting from the Oval Office ever again? Well, it is easy for me to say since I can't spell, but then again, neither can Donald. Look, I've been pretty blessed in life, and there's nothing that Trump can do to say that he can say that can hurt me. But he has hurt a lot of other people, and that's why I'm running. I've got to stand up. You have to help me with this. We've got to stand up for every American who's lost a job or lost their insurance or can't pay their college tuition or student loans. You've all heard the slogan, Mike will do it. Mike will get it done. And if you haven't heard get it done, I've wasted an awful lot of money. Let me tell you what the it is. It means winning this November and sending Donald Trump back to Mar-a-Lago permanently. But that's just the beginning, because getting it done means finally providing health insurance to every American who lacks it and lowering costs for everyone else. Getting it done means passing common sense gun safety laws that protect our children and communities. Getting it done means making America a global leader in the fight against climate change. Getting it done means creating good jobs with higher wages. Getting it done means addressing discrimination and inequality. Getting it done means finally fixing our broken immigration system and creating a path for citizenship to the 11 million people who are living in the shadows. And getting it done means protecting a woman's right to choose and appointing judges who will defend that right. Now, it won't be easy, but we all know that we can do it, because I have a record of reaching across the aisle and getting things done. And I just wanted to give you a couple quick examples of what you can get done. They're done in New York. New York's not all of America, but it's a good example so you can see how things work. Other candidates talk about raising teachers' salaries. As mayor, we raised them 43%. And I raised the salaries the same amount for police and fire and sanitation and all the other people that work for New York City. If you want the best and the brightest working for you, if you want government to really give you good services, you got to pay the people so they can focus on their job rather than how they're going to pay the rent. People talk about improving public schools. Well, we raised graduation rates by more than 40%. They talk about improving health care. In New York, we cut the number of uninsured by 40% and improved care for mothers and babies and raised life expectancy in New York by 3 whole years. What that really means, if you want to live longer, one thing you can do is move to New York or just vote for me and it'll happen. Others talk about fighting climate change. In New York, we cut New York City's carbon footprint by 13%, and we helped replace 300 dirty coal-fired power plants with cleaner energy. Others talk about stopping gun violence. I can just tell you, in New York, we created a nationwide organization of 6 million members with Moms Demand Action. And you're welcome. And we cut the murder rate in New York by 50%. Look, I was a mayor for 12 years. I know how to bring people together to solve problems. That's always the way I run my business, and that's the way I ran New York City. I was elected just 7 weeks after the devastating terrorist attack of 9/11. Our city was in tatters, our economy was in recession, and we got an awful lot of help from Texans and from people in all the states in this union and from people around the world, and New Yorkers really also came together. And we created nearly 500,000 jobs. We built 175,000 units of affordable housing. We reduced homelessness by 30%. We launched new programs to fight poverty, and we rebuilt our city so that it was stronger than ever. And over the past 2 decades, we've taken on the toughest fights and won. And we've actually taken on Donald Trump and won many times. We beat him on gun safety. We beat him on coal pollution. We beat him on flipping the House in the 2018 elections. And we are ready to do it again. But San Antonio, I can't do it alone. I need your help. I need your support and your vote. And I need you to talk to your friends and your family and knock on doors and make phone calls. You got to tell everyone you can what our campaign is all about and how important this primary is. And if you just think about it, if Trump wins, you're going to have a Republican in the House. You're going to lose this House. You lost the Senate. You're not going to get it back. And we have a couple of Supreme Court justices who probably have to be replaced. I don't want Donald Trump to pick those. When you talk to your friends, just tell them, if you want quality health insurance for everyone, not empty promises, if you want to combat inequality with fairer taxes and better jobs, if you support my commitment to a quality public education for every kid, no matter what zip code you live in, if you share my belief in opportunity for all and not just a few, if you are ready to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, and if you are ready to clean out the Oval Office and get things done, then welcome to Bloomberg 2020. Thank you.